How is everybody doing on this fandamntastic day? I, as always and forever will be, am Trailer Play Dave. Let's get started, shall we? I've been driving for a day now and really need to stop so I can get some much needed rest. As I drive, I see a sign that says Union Springs, 3 miles. Why not? I thought to myself. I didn't really know Alabama, so any place is as good as any. Maybe it's the drive finally wearing down on me, but this is the first time I feel as if I'm too tired to continue. Following my GPS to the nearest motel, I catch a glimpse of an old building and it sort of calls to me. Focusing on the road again, I follow the directions given and I make mental note of the words written on the small slanted canopy protruding from the building. Josephine. I check in at the motel and place my stuff inside the room I am given for the night. A bed, a nightstand, and a dresser across from the bed, against the other wall, is all that's in there. In the back is an area that has a shower, a toilet, and a sink. Standing in it, though, I feel claustrophobic and return to the main room, letting myself fall into the bed. I close my eyes and decide to take that much-needed rest. My alarm disrupting my peaceful night, I reach over to grab my phone and silence it. I notice the time, 5:45 a.m. I've only been asleep for 5 hours. Laying there, I close my eyes and try to drift off back to sleep, but it's no use. Images of that building that I passed earlier flashes in my head. For some strange reason, that building keeps being brought back to my attention. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to sleep, so I shake it off and decide to take a drive around town to get some more supplies before heading out. Find myself surprised that I'm driving past that building again. For me to find my way back here without any directions, it is kind of odd. Looking at the building as I pass it, I notice a faint light in one of the windows. I shrug it off, thinking nothing of it, and continue my way to gather supplies. Water, some ice for the cooler, food, and some other essentials for the rest of the trip is all I needed. I only have about 5 or 6 hours left to go. I drove back to the motel and yet again I found myself passing that building. My car starts to sputter, the engine dies as we come to a rolling stop. I get out of the car and look around for a business that is open to direct me to the nearest auto mechanic. I can hear a faint piano playing. I look around and notice the door shutting on the building that has the canopy with the words Josephine on it. I suppose this is my only choice. I walk up to the door and pull it open, stepping inside. I'm in shock to what I see. It is a grand, elegant lobby that looks as if it was just built. I walk up to the front desk. Nobody is occupying it though, and ring the bell. The sound of the piano, a little clearer than when I was outside. There must be somebody here. Instantly, I hear footsteps from the floor above me. I look for the stairs and make my way to the second floor. Perhaps the front desk attendant is up there helping someone. The closer I got to the second floor, the clearer the piano became. I look up and down the hall for someone. Anyone. But it was no use. Turning around to go back to the first floor, my face is now inches away from another person's face. Startled, I back up and grab my chest, giving a bit of a scream. "I didn't see you there. I apologize," I told him as I dusted my shirt straight. He stood there looking at me, not saying a word, and finally spoke. "Have you checked in, sir?" He's dressed in a black suit with a white dress shirt, no name tag to identify him, but I assume that he works here since he asked if I just checked in. "No, I'm not interested in a room. I was just wondering if you knew where the nearest auto repair shop is," I told him as he was turning around, heading down the hall. "Come this way, sir," he stated as he continued making his way towards the stairs. I followed behind, wondering where everyone was, where he came from, and why all of a sudden I don't hear that piano anymore. There are too many questions I'm asking myself and starting to get really unsettled by this entire situation. We are back at the front desk and he pulled out a book from underneath the counter. He opens it up and looks at me. Your name, sir. He must not have heard me when I asked for an auto repair shop. He must think I'm wanting a room. Looking at his face, I spoke a little bit louder, just in case he's hard of hearing. I'm not interested in a room. I need an auto mechanic to look at my car. The man, still looking at me with pen in hand, ready to book me a room, states, I'm not deaf, sir. Though today is his only day off, you'll need a place to stay until the morning. Reaching into my pocket for my cell phone, I panicked a bit, as it wasn't there. I pat myself down and then remembered maybe I had left it in the car when I was using it for the GPS earlier. The man, not saying a word, laid down the pen on the open book. I noticed before walking away that all the names in the book had different signatures. Never have I been to a place where people have signed their own names in a book to get a hotel room. I didn't say a word to him as I exited the building. I walk over where I'd left my car and grab the keys from my pocket. Placing the key into the door and unlocking it, I suddenly notice it. No, this can't be happening right now. I swing the door open and carefully search the passenger side of the car. I pick up bigger pieces of the shattered passenger window and threw them out into the road. I check under the seat, in the glove box, the back seat, even in the trunk, in hopes that somehow it wedged itself between the seats. It was nowhere. Someone had broken in and took it. I slammed the car door shut and walked back across the street to the hotel. I see the man still at the counter, book open to the same page with the pen resting as a bookmark in the crease. I step up to the desk and compose myself before speaking. May I borrow the phone in order to make a call? The man didn't even say a word, pulls out an old rotary phone from behind the desk and places it in my reach. Picking up the receiver, I place it to my ear and listen to the dial tone buzz in my ear. I forgot how annoying this sound can be. I dial the only number I know by heart, my brother. That's who I was on my way to surprise, so I may as well make it an even bigger surprise by asking him to come pick me up. It rings twice, and the static is the only thing that picks up. Hello? Tom? Can you hear me? The static wavers in pitch and tone, almost as if it was speaking. Tommy, I can't hear you, man. If you can hear me, I'm in out. The static instantly dies, interrupting my words. I hang up and pick up the receiver again. The dial tone buzzes in my ear once more. I redial and try again. 2 rings come through and then it's silence. Hello, Tommy? Are you? Just then a weird click interrupts me, breaking the silence for a second, followed with more silence. I held the phone to my ear for a couple of minutes listening to the pattern. Silence and a click. Silence and a click. Silence and a click. I hang the phone up and look at the man and state, I think your phone needs to be serviced. He smiles and puts the phone behind the counter. I'll be sure to have the phone company check it out. If you like, we have a room ready for you, sir. Scratching my head, unsure of what to do about my current situation, I shrug my shoulders and pick up the pen. I sign my name in the book on the next available space and hand the pen back to the man. He takes it and writes down a room number, closes the book, and returns them both to their spot underneath the counter. He then grabs a key out of the cabinet. He hands it to me. Your room number is 217, sir. I grab the key from him and can't help but chuckle. Good thing this isn't the Overlook Hotel. The man didn't crack a smile, just stares at me. I take it he hasn't read the book or seen the movie. I give an awkward expression to him and make my way to the second floor. I walk down the hall and find room 217. I place the key into the door and unlock it. This hotel seems to have never updated anything over the last several decades. I open the door to the room and walk in. It is definitely a blast from the past. Wallpaper, a hideous looking couch that has floral design on it, and a carpet that looks to be over 100 years old. I make my way over to the bed. I'm still fatigued from the drive and the little amount of sleep that I had the night before. If I could just get some rest, maybe I'll be able to wake up and devise a plan to get on the road again. I fell into the bed and almost instantly crashed. I opened my eyes I couldn't believe how good I felt. It is as if I'd had the best sleep of my life. There was no clock in my room, so I was unsure of how long I slept for. I walked out of the room and closed the door behind me, making my way towards the front desk. I have to maneuver around people wandering the hall. It's crazy all of a sudden to see this many people. Standing at the front desk already is the same man I encountered yesterday. Well, at least I think it's been a day already. Hey, do you know what time of day it is? I questioned him as I stopped in front of the counter. It is 9:27 a.m. on Monday, sir. He told me as he put a stack of papers into one of the drawers. So I really did sleep for a day. I looked at him and thanked him. I slept like the dead here. Not sure what kind of mattresses you guys have in those rooms, but that has been the best sleep I have ever had in my entire life. He smiles and says, all of our guests have said the same thing, and we are glad that you are well rested now, sir. Oh, and I took the liberty to call the mechanic to come pick up your car and fix it for you, sir. There is breakfast in the main hall if you wish to grab something to eat. It took me by surprise when he told me that he had already called to have my car picked up. I thanked him and made my way to the main hall for something to eat. I entered the room and it was a grand hall with tables spread all around the area. Honestly, it reminded me of a formal dinner party at some prestigious banquet. The food sitting on the tables that were lining the wall. There's every imaginable food that you could ever want for breakfast. I grab a little bit of everything until my plate is almost overflowing. I take a seat at a nearby table and prepare to start eating. I watch others as they come through, making their plates of food and making their way to their seats. It's odd though. Some of these people seem to be straight out of an old movie. A woman, hair bobbed, wearing a style of dress that resembles a flapper in the 20s, walked in front of my table. I started looking around and noticed that there were many different styles that spread throughout several different decades. Dropping my utensils, I swallowed the food that was already in my mouth and stood up. The main hall door shut, latches clicked as the man from the front counter makes his way to the front of the room now. I stand there, frozen. I couldn't move my body. All I could do was stand there and watch to see what happens. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of you know what I'm going to say, but this is for those new souls that know nothing. He said that and it looks like he was staring directly at me. New souls, what does he mean by that? Wait a minute. The empty building before staying here, the phone that didn't work properly, was this entire elaborate plan to get new people for something more devious? The man smiling, I knew in that instant he was looking at me. He knows that I have figured something out. Just then, we all heard the bell from the front counter ring. My eyes, they were getting heavy. Tiredness consumed my entire being. There's nothing I could do to keep my eyes open, to stay awake. What was this power this place has over me now? Out of the slivers of my eyes, just before my slumber, I could see the man walking towards me. I felt a hand rest upon my shoulder and words spoken. Welcome to the rest of your eternal life in Hotel Josephine. My eyes opened up. I got out of bed. I couldn't believe how well I slept last night. It was the best night of sleep I have ever had in my entire life. I hope you all enjoyed the video and feel free to share it with some friends, leave a comment, hit the like button, and to subscribe. But remember to always have a fandamntastic day.